What is up, guys? It's
John.
Ken, Speakeasy Podcast. Welcome back to the basement. Welcome to the Speakeasy. This is where shit goes down right here, people. Come on.
Shit's going down.
It's going down. Today we're doing something that I've had, I hate to say it, and it's not like I can't say I like it or don't like it or anything of the sort, but I have an area of my bar where I have a bunch of bottles that I don't get to. Like, I have some really good bottles right at the bar, but then behind it is like the graveyard.
I was going to say, you called it the graveyard before. That's hysterical.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I just don't drink them as much. And I like everything on this side. Like, so if you ever been to my basement here, I have my couch, my recliner, everything over there. I have my TV. That's where I spend my time at nighttime when I'm hanging out. So everything on this side gets a lot of love. Because I could like
closer,
because I might be like watching something and I don't want to like walk away from the TV, and I'm kind of like can still watch the TV and grab a bottle, or I can at least hear the TV and grab a bottle over here. So on that side, not as much love, and unfortunately, this.
But also,
Russell's
your
10.
more expensive bottles are over
there. Yeah, I have stuff, but like it's more expensive stuff, but that's not open necessarily yet either.
Shit signed and autographed.
Yeah, I know that's the whole thing. I know I got to put that elsewhere probably. But this Russell's Reserve Rye 10-year was over there. And like I said, it had nothing to do with me liking it or not liking it. I think it just ended up in the graveyard for
I got to take a walk to the graveyard. I got to see what's over there. There's some bottles over there facing that way. I have to see what they are.
I know. There's a few. Yeah.
That's great.
But anyways. So, yeah, you know what, though? John's never had the rye, did you? Or?
No, for Russell's, no.
Yeah.
Nope.
And I think I remember you asking me one time or brought it up. You're like, oh, have you had the Russell's rye?
Probably.
I don't know. So this is a single barrel, non-chill filtered, nacho filtered, 104 proof, Kentucky straight rye whiskey.
Signed by Jimmy himself.
That's a fake signature, but yes. Yeah. And Eddie as well, yes. Let me get you first. Okay. And okay.
Okay.
Giggity, giggity. I'll put this here.
Smells good.
Okay, let's see. We did a rye in our last episode, too,
yeah.
So we're doing our ryes.
We're doing all
okay.
Right.
I'm getting caramel. I'm getting some nice. I put this wrong way. I put taste first here. Should be nose first. I'm getting caramel. I'm getting minty note there. What are you getting? What are you giving me that look for?
Because I'm getting something that you got on the last episode that I didn't get, and now I'm getting it.
Okay. Well,
I don't know. Maybe if it's in my mustache.
Cardboard?
No.
Oh.
I'm getting a little chocolate.
Okay.
I'm getting, so like you said, mint. I'm getting like that mint chocolate chip, man.
Mint chocolate. You hit the nail on the head, bro. I'm getting that too, man. Definitely getting that. Mint, chocolate, caramel. It's like if there was mint chocolate surrounded by a nice caramel or something.
I feel like I'm back in my ice cream store.
Oh, man. I love the nose on this, man. It's really good.
Me too. Why was this in the graveyard? Well, we didn't taste it yet.
Yeah, I told you. I don't know. I may have just been moving shit around, and I'm like, oh, let me just put this here right now. But we haven't tasted it yet, yes.
I'm getting more. I'm getting cookie.
Okay, bakery cookie kind of, yeah.
This smells like it's going to be like a delectable drink. You know what I mean? Like a sweeter after dinner.
It has some delectability to it. Let's check out that color.
Color's nice. I don't see any legs.
No. Actually, right there, I'm getting it. Yeah.
Yeah, you get it. Maybe it's my glass.
That'd be your glass.
There you go.
Yeah. Not bad. It's I would say it's a little bit lighter, but lighter, heading towards that medium kind of color. Let's see.
Cheers.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to take a sip of water in between there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I like it.
A lot.
I like it a lot. I am still getting that minty, minty taste.
Okay.
I'm
getting a little apple on the palate.
Yeah, I can definitely green apple.
Yes.
I like this. I'm getting that rye forward, which I'm a fan of.
So that spice. All right. Apple, mint, spice. You getting into that chocolate still or no?
With the water, yes. Without the water, no. You know what I'm... You know, it's funny because I was just reading up on it before, and I don't want that to be... Skew my... Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody had mentioned kettle corn. And I don't know if that's just in my head, but the sweetness of like a kettle corn, like that sweet, sugary... Not popcorn. Don't get me wrong.
I know.
But that sweetness.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I'm getting a little sweetness, maybe like a toffee or something. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to say, and I don't know if it's because we've had a couple before this, but this might be the best one I've had today, man.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I don't know why this one was in the graveyard.
I don't know why.
I don't know why you tried to kill it. But being in the graveyard, just like a Walking Dead, this is coming back to life.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good. This is a good find, man.
Do you find yourself liking wild turkey typically, or? I'm
going to be honest. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't had much wild turkey in my life.
Yeah.
Besides maybe what we've sampled here.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've done wild turkey in a really long time.
Probably the anniversary one.
Wild turkey to me was always bottom of the barrel.
This was
the
probably
cheap shit.
The last one we've had was probably the what was that? The 70th anniversary.
People always say the Wild Turkey 101 is the way to go. I don't know. To me, I compare Wild Turkey to like Jim Beam. Like I don't want it really in my repertoire.
101's a solid one. That's 101. You know.
But Russell's is a different entity to me. I've never had a Russell's I didn't like.
Yeah.
But it's probably the same shit.
I love their store picks. I love their single barrel store picks. And nowadays, though, like it's kind of cuckoo. Like the single barrel store picks, which usually would be like in the 70 to 80 range. Like I see some of these groups on Facebook, like they're
a lot higher.
They're like $100 now. Yeah. Like, are they making that much money on it, or the prices go up that much?
I always see a Russell's 6 or 7 everywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of places I go always has a Russell 6-year, 7-year. I don't see the 10-year as much. But
so this is this is like a store pick. This is Somerville Super Saver store pick.
Yeah, we did that. We've done that. I remember that picture. Yeah.
And this is actually the old label. Now they've done the labels again and stuff like that. So you know, but that's like a good example of a store pick or whatever, just of the regular bourbon that is. And like I said, the prices on these ones have really sort of skyrocketed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe because Jimmy's so old, he's about to fucking kick the bucket.
I know, we got to get something signed by that guy.
But that's the dude that's there all the time, you know?
Next time we're in Kentucky, but we didn't stop by Wild Turkey.
We drove by it.
I wanted to go, but, you know.
We went to Main Street, USA. We could have stopped at Wild Turkey. Remember? Where the boys bought their
I kept hinting.
Trumpet.
I hinted to you.
And their lunch.
Before we met up with them, and I hinted to I said, yeah, Wild Turkey. We're going past Wild Turkey. No.
Yeah. That was in between.
That was good lunch, though, by the way, that place.
It was all right, yeah.
I liked it.
That was definitely a strange spot. Yeah. But that was just a cool thing, watching these guys talk instruments and watching them play on the side street there.
Yeah, that was that
was Main Street USA, dude.
Buddies from Poor Man's Poison, you ever watch? any of other episodes we did with them and stuff like
One
that.
of the coolest pictures we took of the whole. I have the same picture, but yours is in black and white, and it's cooler.
Yeah.
Of Dustin playing the trumpet with Ryan just sitting next to him.
Yeah. Chilling.
Staring out onto Main Street, USA. That was awesome.
Yeah. That was cool. Good times, man. Good times.
Anyway, fanboy.
Yeah. But yeah, back to this Russell's, man. I'm liking this a lot.
I am too.
I don't know if it's this particular specific bottle from 1990 something. No.
If I see this in the store, I probably will pick this up.
Yeah, it's good, man. I like it. It's good juice, man. I really like this. I'm good. Kudos, man. Good stuff. Russell's.
I'm a rye fan. Are you becoming more of a rye fan lately than you were in the past? Or
I don't know. I feel that I've been getting more,
I don't know why my voice got so high.
I feel like I'm getting weirder with when I'm having bourbon at night, it's just bourbon, and when I'm having rye at night, it's just rye. I feel like I'm getting weird with that, where I'm not interchanging them as much now, which is, and I've been finding like I've been doing. Obviously, I do more bourbon, but
am I wrong to say, when we first started this whole thing and you were getting me into this, you weren't as much into the rye? And now we're doing more rye, or
I think I was.
Do you think you're changing into more?
I don't know. I don't think
rye?
I've changed much on it. I think I can. Judging by what you like, I can tell you seem to lean a little bit more rye on things sometimes.
But do we do more rye because you feel that way, or are you okay with the rye?
I like rye. I love rye. I just like I said, it's just one of those things where it's like these cask finish bourbons once in a while.
Yeah.
I won't do like a cinnamon honey or whatever kind of cask finish or brandy, some kind of brandy cask finish bourbon as my first drink of the night.
Okay.
I actually will do because if I'm gonna have a few drinks throughout the night, like in my nightcap, which I know it's like a couple drinks sometimes.
Yeah.
I always finish with like an Amberana finish or something along those lines because I don't want that taste in my mouth when I'm having regular bourbon.
Gotcha.
So I'll always finish.
I'm like opposite.
Oh, you start with.
I'm opposite because I'm craving that taste.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's different, I guess, and it's your palate and it's what you enjoy and how you feel about it.
Yeah.
Then again, sometimes when it comes to certain things, if you really like something, if you really like a Amberana finished bourbon or something, and that's the taste you want to get, and you don't want anything to get in that way of that flavor palette, you might want to have that first because you're like, screw that. That's what I want. That's what I want to try, and I want to have an honest opinion on it.
But I don't have like where I'll just do my Amberana beer, bourbons. You know what I mean? I'm everywhere, man.
Yeah.
I'm everywhere. And I don't repeat a bourbon.
Do you have any Amberana at your house or no?
I have the Starlight.
Ah, that's right.
And is that the only one? That might be the only one.
I
feel like I have one more, but
you never got never a Nulu or a Bridal and Bit, right? You never got okay.
No.
Yeah. I find myself, I've been actually kind of shying away a little bit more from the Amberana.
From the Amberana?
Yeah.
You're just getting sick of that taste?
I don't know. I feel like it's a wintertime thing for me more. I feel like
that's understood.
Yeah,
because it's
more
that
like
warming your
the nice cinnamon. You're smelling like everything like during like Christmas time is like cinnamon this or that or whatever. Or fall is more cinnamon, or maple or things of that sort.
I'll do, not every night. Like towards the end of the week, I'll do. If I'm going to do bourbon in my nightcap in one night, it's probably going to be 3 or 4 small pours.
Yeah. Like what we're doing here.
But I bought the mini glass, right? Because that one night I sent you a picture, you're like, that's a big pour. But I'm like, no, but remember, I bought the mini.
This.
I bought the mini glass.
It's our little water glass.
I bought the mini glass from Heaven Hill. I don't drink the same bourbon 3 or 4 times, though.
Yeah.
I switch. And I've been starting lately with the Mexican vanilla peach.
Is it grown on you more? Or
that's one of my favorites that I have in my thing right now. And I was pissed when we bought it because I was like, "Fuck, man, I spent all this money on this."
Yeah.
But no, and then I'll go to like my Willet Rye, or I'll go to the Stag.
So recently, this group that
I go down,
where John and I get these Good Times ones from. They had a post yesterday about a honey and like hot honey. So they infuse it with like peppers. I know it's getting a little wild, people. I understand.
I love hot honey.
Yeah.
But in my drink, I don't think so.
John just knew that I was going to buy it and he'll get to try it at some point.
When I saw your name on there, my ears perked up and I was like,
yeah. He's like, oh, get to try it now. Anyways, let's finish up with this. Good stuff. Russell's Rye.
If you see this in the stores, pick it up. I don't know the price range on this.
I don't think it might have been like 40 to 50.
Yeah, that's perfect, man. You can't go wrong.
At least when I bought this bottle.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
No, if you see this bottle in the store for, I would say $60 or under, I would pick it up in a heartbeat.
Freaking
Dude.
good, man.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty good. If I see it, I'll let you know. I go to Bottle King once in a while, so I'll let you know. Cheers. Mm-hmm. It's got good, just good flavor, man.
I took my lunch to go to Total Wines, and I might have even texted you that day.
Yeah.
When I bought the 1792.
Yeah.
And I must have stared at that bourbon. I must have been there for like 35, 40 minutes. Staring.
And you didn't text me.
Going in my phone.
And how many did they have on the shelf?
Of what?
Oh, you're talking about, which one were you?
No. Well, I was Total Wines in Totowa.
What bourbon were you talking about?
No, anything. I'm just saying, like, I couldn't figure out what to buy. I couldn't figure out what to buy.
Because you mentioned you saw the Old Fit 7 year recently, which is
that it wasn't there. Definitely wasn't there. But I was trying to figure out something to bring down the shore for Memorial Day weekend. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it because I knew by the time we start drinking it, we're going to be half in the bag. Yeah. So I didn't want anything great. I didn't want to spend more than $30, $40. And I kept going back and forth. You
went with the 1792 small batch, didn't you?
That's what I went with.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to get another one.
Yeah.
And it was between that and then I was like, all right, maybe the Michter's. Just the regular Michter's. The regular bourbon was like 40. Yeah. And the 1792 was 30.
Yeah.
And I kept putting on our podcast because I was like, I couldn't remember if I liked the single barrel 1792 or the small batch. And I'm playing the podcast in the middle of the store and it would stop. Yeah. Halfway through, like it would just spin. I'm like, God damn it.
It was a small batch.
And then some gentleman came over and he's talking to the person that worked there and he's like, I'm really into weeded lately. So the guy's showing him different things and, he showed him the Penelope weeded and then he got something, I don't think I've even heard of it, and it was weeded, but it was like $80. And I didn't know what it was.
Figures.
Like,
so a guy that works at the store showed something to a guy that's $80.
And I wanted to go up to the dude and be like, dude, that Penelope weeded is like $35.
Yeah.
Like, buy that.
It's good.
Buy that.
I get it all the time. I don't know what it is. When I go to a store, I'm a freaking magnet to people.
Yeah.
People always look at me and are like, what are you looking at? What are you getting? What do you think? What do you think of this one? What do you think? I'm like, I'm pretty quiet when I'm on my own, and I'm kind of like just mind my own business. But for some reason, everyone. So listen to this. I went.
But you look like you.
I don't know. Maybe it's the beard.
You look like you drink.
Yeah. So I was at. Listen to this one, and I have a bottle of that Cellar Age 2024, and I have 2 bottles of it now.
Makers.
Yeah, the Maker's Mark, Cellar Age, and I will be opening one of those soon. And some guy, it was a brand new liquor store that opened up like in Bridgewater. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's not too far. People are like, someone posted a picture on one of those bourbon find groups. And I'm like, oh my God. They had like all these bourbons they had Pappy 23 for like $1,000-something bucks, but you could sell that for freaking $3,500.
Yeah, but the problem is, are you?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't buy it, so don't worry.
Yeah,
it wasn't there. That sold out in probably a matter of about 20 seconds, probably.
Okay.
And everything. By the time I got there, basically all these high-end bourbons that were being sold, because a lot of times these new liquor stores will do it as a promotional, get people there, and all that stuff. So I'm standing in front of the glass, and I see that Cellar Age. It was a pretty good price on it, too. And I see the Cellar Age behind the glass, and I was like, jeez. I'm like, I think that's what I want, because there was a couple things and stuff, and they had some Penelope Havana for $80-something bucks on the regular shelf, not behind the glass. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna snag one of these too because that's a good price on it. So, and some other guy's like, oh, where'd you get the Penelope Havana? I was like, oh, it's up there, And he's like, all right, cool, and he grabbed it because it's just one. So this guy is going. Different guy, not the one that was asking about the Havana. Totally different guy, older guy, and he's talking bourbon and stuff with me and everything like that. And he just kept going and going. Which one are you looking at? I don't want to tell him which one I'm looking at because he's going to freaking
steal it.
Yeah, he's going to tell the store manager or whatever. Oh, hey, I'm looking interested. Can you open the glass? I want to get that one. I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards the Blantons. I'm kind of, just blowing smoke really at that point because I'm like, I know what I want,
right?
But I'm not going to tell you. So finally I saw someone that worked there. I was like, hey, can you open the cabinet? So not to, just so I don't, I'm playing with the roll. I was like, when the guy opens the glass, I've been going back and forth. I'm going for that cellar age. I'm kind of like, They weren't going to help anyone else at that time because they're talking to me. So I was like, I'm going to just to play it off or whatever. Just like, oh, yeah, I was kind of going between the Blantons and cellar age, and I went with the cellar age, or whatever.
Good.
But that's a cool thing about stores that just open, every once in a while you can get a nice steal on something.
There's a place, I was driving to one of my daughter's softball games for high school.
All right.
And I was going up 46 West, and I saw, I don't know if it was Parsippany. It was the wine and whiskey store, it was called.
And where was this again? I'm sorry?
On Route 46 West. I don't know. It was around the Parsippany
So
area.
wine and whiskey is a common, we have a wine and whiskey right across the street from me here. There's one in Hackett.
okay.
When we went to Hackettstown, that was originally a wine. Now it's a Sandy's, but it was a wine and whiskey as well.
But is the whiskey in there, is that legit? They're probably going to have, I looked at it and I was like, they're probably going to have great stuff,
Yeah. No.
I got to check it out.
No. I would take the name with a grain of salt.
Okay.
I would say, because you could have just a Joe Schmo or whatever random wine store that has good whiskey, I went to, up in Livingston Manor, up near my house in the Catskills, there's a wine store. It's really a dedicated wine store, but they have Willet, purple tops and stuff, but they're charging.
Ooh, the purple top. You got to keep the glass for that one.
Oh yeah, no, but the astronomical prices though. I'm like, they have it, and they're a wine store, but they're selling it for freaking. It's the same ones every time we go there. Within the last few years, it's always the same bottles sitting on that shelf. What's the point at that point?
Yeah. What's funny is, and I'm going to sound retarded. There's a liquor store next to our local Stop and Shop, and I had to pick up some. I worked the concession stand for our softball, whatever. I had to pick up some rolls and this and that. And I was like, I'm gonna pick up. I usually pick up either some Corona Light or some Club Ultra, just because we hang out down there and we'll have a couple beers.
Yeah.
And this guy's got not a decent selection, but he's got some bourbon on the shelves. And about 6 to 8 months ago, I was in there and I was looking at the bourbon. He's like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "No, I'm just looking." He's like, "Well, what do you like?" And I was like, I'm just, looking. I'm a rye guy, and I like just regular bourbon. And he's like, why don't you try this 1792? It's really good. And I was, 1792?
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. That's shit.
Yeah.
And I think it was a small batch.
Yeah.
And then we did the small batch
I know,
versus single barrel.
It figures.
And I really liked it.
Yeah, that's what you get.
And when I went there this past Saturday to pick up some beer, I'm looking at the shelves, and I'm like, where's that 1792 small batch this guy tried to push on me 6 months ago? And he didn't have any.
Figures. That's what happens. Well,
I saw it in BJ's, though, for like $28. So
that's a really good price.
I'm going to go back and pick it up.
Oh, you didn't get it? Yeah.
No, I was in a rush, and I was using the app to pay, and you can't buy alcohol on the app.
Oh, I see. Well,
I'm with our friend Jay,
and
I was telling the story, like, oh, I really like 1792. I'm going to bring it down the shore. And he's like, I'm not a fan. I'm like, I'm a fungal.
There's like 12 different 1792s, Jay. Come on.
He's like, Elijah Craig. 17.
Don't get snooty on us. Don't get snooty on us.
Yeah, snooty Jay. Snooty Tasting Bourbon. If you don't already, follow Tasting Bourbon on Instagram.
Yeah.
And tell him.
Yeah.
Nah, good stuff. He does some good stuff on there.
Yeah. If it's good liquid, that's all we care about, man. We're not name whores with stuff and whatever. All that stuff.
It's like anything else, dude. Sometimes you're in the mood for this. Sometimes you're in the mood for that. The 1792 small batch is sweet for me. Sometimes I want a sweet bourbon. Sometimes I want heat.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm sitting there.
Well, we didn't expect what we're gonna get out of this. I think this is fantastic.
This was delicious.
Man.
Sometimes I want
really
a rye
good.
night, and I'll do all ryes. You know, this was good. If I see this, I will buy this.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that one, man. I don't know where the hell I got it. It was such a long time ago. So
I'm sure if I go to like Total Wines to the rye section, they might have that.
Yeah,
they have a lot of Russells.
I'll keep an eye on it just to give you some price points because, just so you're not spending too much on it or whatever because, I'm usually stopping here and there or whatever.
And I'm interested in anything else you might have.
Yeah.
Maybe Rebel. Something.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know. So today we are going to...
we shut the shit for a long time.
Yeah, we did. That usually happens with our later recordings. But we are going to... talk about certain. We've had episodes in the past where we've talked about things that we're afraid of, our phobias per se. Whatever you want to call it. what we're afraid of, things like that, and all that stuff. But we're going to talk a little bit more about embracing those phobias.
Yeah.
Things that how far would you go to face those phobias? For instance, just to give an example, John had a fear of planes and flying and stuff like that.
Just gonna say that. Yep.
Yeah. And all of a sudden he said, you know what?
I've learned where I can't get to where I want to go if I don't fly.
Exactly.
I have to fly.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've done it. And you did pretty
I've
well.
done
When the breaking point was what? Kentucky? Where
Kentucky was the first time I flew.
where you said, I'm going to do it.
Time,
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And you did it.
Yeah.
And you did all right.
And then I went to the Bahamas, and then I went to Miami, and now I'm going to Florida again. Yeah, it's just, you have to embrace it, and you just have to deal with it, because you can't shelter yourself from doing things you want to do if you can't get there.
There's always that thing in the back of your head where, like, 20 hours of driving, 2 hours on a plane. It's a big difference.
And I'm so, I don't want to say over the fear, because, that fear is always in the back of your head.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we want to go to Georgia to visit, friends.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, if we can't find a flight, we could just drive. Hell no, I ain't driving 13 hours.
Yeah, I know.
I'll hop
That'd
on a
be tough.
plane, bro.
I would drive to Kentucky, I think, though. Because that's not too bad for us, I feel like.
That's even, you don't know? That's like a good 12-hour drive, man.
I don't 12. So years ago, as you know, I drove cross country, and there would be days where it was 13 hours on one day, and then the next day was 14 hours.
But that's different. You're driving across country as the experience. Like, that's your trip.
Yeah, I
driving
guess.
across country. Kentucky's like, we just want to go to Kentucky.
I know.
I don't want to drive there and go through all these
unless you make it an
states.
experience. You stop somewhere on the way.
That would be a different story.
Like you stop at like Cincinnati or something like that. You get some Cincinnati chili or whatever. You're hanging out. You're doing your thing.
Right.
Make it into a road trip.
Right.
Might be.
But at this point, with our wives and children, I don't see us planning a road trip like that.
Yeah, how do we get rid of those?
Yeah, well, we could. I mean,
but yeah, that'd be fun. Did Jay tell you? I don't know if Jay mentioned to you. I was talking to Jay not too long ago or whatever. He's talking about his 50th birthday already.
Was it going north? A north road trip?
No.
Because we did talk about that, me and him.
No.
No? All right. Wait, his 50th birthday's coming up? Holy shit.
Next year. Next year.
Okay.
Next year.
And what was that?
He mentioned Austin.
Ooh.
I mentioned Austin a couple times.
I've always been. That's something that's always piqued my interest.
You know, stop by Joe Rogan, say what's up. We could go to his comedy club.
Still Austin. Still Austin?
Yeah, still Austin.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
This is Steve Austin.
That'd be a good time.
Yeah, that would be. We're getting off topic.
Because I've talked to him, and he mentioned about a guy's trip going north, Maine, Boston.
Last I heard was Austin not too long ago. So I don't know.
He wants to do Saratoga because that's the only tree house he hasn't been to yet. So that was
but that's like
I guess that's just like a weekend.
Yes, that's not a 50th birthday kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think,
true.
where he's kind of like pointing towards. But I might consider. I don't know. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Might be. I love Texas.
Listen, it's for Jay.
Yeah,
It's not for me.
I've been to Texas 2 other times. One was just like a layover, and the other one was actually I was there for hanging out. And
Never
stuff.
been.
Yeah.
It's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeehaw, mofo.
Yeehaw. I'll fucking go buy cowboy boots tomorrow.
John will come out of the airplane with this. He's got the spurs and the cowboy hat and the boots.
Yeah. Call me Johnny the Kid.
And the assless chaps. He'll
go.
do it.
I'll do the YMCA with fucking my cap guns to my side.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
You get the cap going. Howdy, partner.
Hell yeah.
Oh, God. All right, we're getting off topic. Back to facing. John has been flying now, which is great.
Yeah.
So I noticed with myself in particular, I have a fear, not necessarily a fear of heights, I have a fear of falling. I've always had a fear of falling. Heights I can deal with a little bit better. If I'm on the top of the Empire State Building, I'm in a secure location, I'm on a railing that I know is not going to break, and I'm looking down, I'm pretty good. If I'm on if I was on like a scaffold or something like that, that's a different story. I just can't. It's too unstable. I don't like that fear of falling. So I often find that, and this is all the shit that pops up on my feed now, I will watch videos with people doing crazy things from heights. Mm-hmm. So in a way, I'm not necessarily facing my fears because I'm not doing these actions, but I will watch videos and things of that sort that are of guys doing crazy things, parkour, really, where they're jumping off
building to building,
doing and they're not just jumping from building, but they're doing flips and
Yeah.
all this stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, and they're landing right on the edge, and I'm like, oh my god,
your asshole puckers up.
I know.
Or somebody jumping off like the 10th story into like a pool.
Yeah.
What the? Are you crazy?
I know. Or like they jump on like a light pole or some kind of pole
Yeah.
where they're jumping off a building and cradling this pole and sliding down. And I'm like, how are you doing this right now? Like, what kind of cojones do you have in there right now? Because that's just unbelievable.
Care about life. Yeah, you just don't care.
Well, I think that's part of it. I think you almost got to be like, if I die, I die. That's it. I just don't see how someone can do that. No. But why? Someone like myself or someone like yourself, where we have such a fear of certain things like falling or heights or whatever it is, why do we tend to grasp or watch these types of videos and, when we're so afraid of it ourselves?
I think it's because we get the adrenaline of it without doing it.
Yeah.
You're watching somebody else doing it, and it's almost confirming why you don't want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, every time it's like, hell no.
Hell no. Yeah. I'll watch you do it, but hell no. But while you're watching it, though, your adrenaline's pumping. Your heart's going, and you're like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yeah. Obviously, this person's not dead because they're posting the friggin' video.
Exactly.
But a party is like, this guy's nuts. He needs to fall from the fucking building and just die because he's too stupid. Like, you're being stupid. I don't put myself in danger.
Yeah.
That's my theory. If you don't put yourself in any type of stupid danger, you're going to be just fine.
I remember watching, it wasn't live or anything, but I was watching a video of, it was some famous, I forget his name, so don't ask.
Chris Angel.
Tightrope walker. It wasn't Chris Angel. It was a tightrope walker. And this guy was doing it from like when he was younger till like he was old. And I was watching a video. He was tight roping from one building to the next. It was windy and all that stuff. Fucking dude fell.
Oh, yeah.
He fell. He died.
Yeah.
And he was much older, but he was still doing it, and you could see he was like kind of stuck, and I was like,
I don't know if you remember back in the day when somebody did that from one of the Twin Towers to the other.
Oh,
do you remember that?
Yeah.
I don't remember if he died. I don't remember what the outcome was.
No, I don't think so.
That's crazy shit, dude.
Yeah.
That's just stupid.
Yeah. And in this case, like I said, it wasn't the right conditions. He did it when it wasn't the right conditions. And they always have that pole, and you can see the pole was wobbling. He was doing his thing, and he wasn't as nimble as he was maybe when he first started doing this.
Being a sick fuck. Do you look for that though? So when you go to not somebody to die, obviously like that.
Yeah.
But like you go to the circus and you're watching the tightrope. Mm-hmm. Are you excited when they go from one spot to the other? Or are you kind of like, be funny as hell if they just fell? Obviously, they're falling into a net. They're not going to get hurt.
Yeah.
But are you more like, you're stupid for doing it. You deserve to fall off and just... I look for people to fall off things and like...
Yeah. I don't look for it. No. I don't know.
It's more entertaining.
I don't. I understand what you're saying.
I don't want that person to go from A to B. Yeah. I want them to go from A halfway and then fall off.
It depends on how stupid something is that someone's doing. Because sometimes it'll be like, you know what, you deserve to fucking fall because you're doing something so freaking stupid that I'm like, why are you doing that right now? But yeah, no, I wouldn't say it typically.
Like the Jackass Boys when Steve-O had to like tightrope across the alligators. You remember that from the movie? And then he fell and like one like chomped onto his ass because he was holding on. And
oh my god!
He got out and just ran across.
I never watched it.
Remember that?
I don't think I ever watched
the Jackass movie.
No, I don't think I ever watched it. Yeah, I used to watch the show all the damn time, but I don't think I watched it.
Great. Mm. But yeah, I don't know. My fears are like snakes, death, falling.
You don't like snakes, huh?
Heights. It's so funny because I want a snake.
Yeah.
I've always wanted a snake as a pet. But I've been watching lately a lot of videos on snakes and just the way they like curl up to try to squeeze the shit out of you. I'm like, I don't want a snake like that.
Yeah.
I want a little dude.
Yeah. We get them, or we get a lot around. We get like milk snakes, we get garter snakes. That's common.
But they're
around
like
here.
Thin.
They can be pretty long still. They can still be a couple
long,
feet.
but not like fat where it can't wrap itself around you and destroy
No,
you.
absolutely not. The other day, my dog was. So my dog, when she barks, both my dogs, when they bark, they will face the street because usually someone walking by and they're barking.
Yeah.
And I noticed my one dog, was barking but not facing the street. I was like, there's something there.
Yeah.
I walk over. What do I see? A snake slithering around in the backyard, and I was like, oh, I knew there was something there. I knew it.
At least they're smart enough not to grab it.
Well, it was like on the other side of the fence where I couldn't get to
okay.
it, so I don't know if she would have been smart enough.
Yeah.
But for me, it's spider. I don't like spiders. My wife is deathly afraid of spiders, but I
Yeah.
don't like
I
spiders.
don't like spiders either.
She's a lot worse with it. But I will watch National Geographics. I'll watch any of that stuff on anything on spiders. Well, because I can say, well, it's on TV. It's not a big deal.
Right.
The ones I can like catch and eat birds and shit
Right.
like that. You know.
But you're almost validating why you don't like them.
Yeah, well, I don't like them.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. My wife, on the other hand, like if there's like a fake one in the store, she'll freak out. You know,
Yeah.
she doesn't like them to that extent. You know, where I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever, it's fake. I don't, you know, it's on TV or whatever. I don't care. You know, but if it's like, and it's funny because a lot of these bugs and a lot of these things, like your spiders or you ever see those like basement centipede ones?
Oh
You know,
my god! I killed one the other day.
oh my, but apparently
One was in my bathroom. I was on the toilet.
I
And it
know.
just came out of nowhere, and I jumped up, forgetting I even had to wipe.
There's a
And I
log hanging
stepped
out.
on it, and then I was ready to run out the door, and I was like, wait, I still have to wipe. Those things freak me out.
But apparently they're
supposed to be really good.
they say don't kill them. They don't bother you. They just eat the little shit that you don't want around your house, the little bugs and this and that. They say they're actually good for you.
But they're like mice, right? Like, why are we scared of mice? They're this big. Why are we scared? It's not that we're scared of them. It's just that they come out of nowhere, bro.
Mice are a little bit different, Johnny, because mice have the poop, and the poop carries diseases
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
It's like rats; they carry diseases.
But that's not why you're scared of it. You're not scared you're going to get the disease.
Yeah.
You're scared when a motherfucker pops out of the back of your bookcase and it just goes across. You're like, what is that?
We've had mice in our house before, in our attic and stuff like that, and we have traps and everything like that. They're the quick traps. They just kills them instantly. But we had the glue traps for bugs because we get a lot of cave crickets, which once again, cave crickets are another one.
Those big, they look like frogs. They're gigantic.
huge. Yeah, they're huge. Cave crickets / camel crickets / spider crickets. It's all the same shit. But
Camel toes.
Yeah. So our glue traps were never intended for mice, but one day we did catch a mouse on the glue trap, and I felt so bad for the thing because it was still alive. It's like trying to wiggle its way out. I took a freaking
Hammer?
No, I actually was trying to save the damn thing. I took one of those scrapers, like the paint scraper thing, metal ones, and I was gentle, and I tried to like kind of get it off, and I got it off eventually, but there was so much glue still stuck on it. And I it was raining that day, and I put it under like a shoebox, and I was like, I hope you live, little buddy. I felt bad for it, man. And, you know.
Should have just cut its legs off and watch it try to
fucking
wiggle away.
I know, and it's funny, that conversation, because we have a little fish tank for my son upstairs, and we had this one fish that, I don't know if it got a disease or something, but the fins kind of got deteriorated. I don't know if the other fish were picking on it or what. And we were like, all right, let's quarantine this fish. We took it out of the tank. We had another little tank. We put it in there. We put the medicine. We did everything. This thing lasted like 2 freaking weeks alive, but just laying on the ground. And my wife was going to me. She's like, Ken, she's like, we need to kill this thing, I think. You know, we need to euthanize it. And I was like, no, but I'm like, I'm that guy. I'm like, no, there's still hope. He'll live. But and it was right before we were leaving for the weekend, for Memorial Day weekend, and I went a day ahead of them because I had to do some projects up there.
Oh.
And she's like, "Oh, it died." I was like, "You killed it, didn't you?" I'm like, "You killed it, didn't you?" She's like, "No, I didn't kill it. It just died."
To me, something like that's like the fine line where it's like rewarding to bring it back to life
I know.
and get it going. But then on the other hand, it's like, give a shit.
Yeah, I know. I guess because everything has feelings. Everything has, you know.
It?
Yeah. But back to what we're saying. We keep calamari in this one, but back to what we're saying. Like, facing your fears. I would never jump from one building to another. I would never try this. I would never. I'm too old now. I'm too fragile nowadays. Where I'm not facing those fears in that way.
You want to know one of my new ridiculous fears is?
What?
Hiking.
Okay.
Because you keep seeing these videos of these little mountain lions and bears.
We don't get mountain lions by us here, though. That's not like a thing.
But they could be, yeah.
we don't. I don't think we get mountain
Oh, I
lions.
think we do.
We get bobcats.
Okay, same shit. They'll fuck with you too. I'm afraid where I'm going to be taking a hike and I'm going to be stuck in a mountain with my kids, and a bear or a mountain lion or a bobcat is going to pop out of the woods. And what am I going to do?
And here's the thing, and just to clarify with you, I hike. We hike.
I love hiking. My
Yeah,
kids
I do.
love hiking.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I love the nature of it. I love all that stuff. There's certain precautions you can do. You can have a bear bell. You just hang a bell from your belt loop or whatever, and you walk around. And it just anytime there's an instance where like a bear may attack, it's because they don't know you're there and you scare the shit out of them. And that's the whole thing. Let them know you're nearby. Talk loud. Do all that stuff. And by us, we have black bears. Black bears aren't as bad. They don't do stupid shit. You know.
I have white bears.
You get polar bears? Polar bears, that is a different story.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of the white bears.
Yeah. But black bears aren't too bad by us, you idiot. But they're not. They're not.
Like, motherfucker, bang, get out of my forest. Bang.
Do you ever hear that story about there was a black bear? Because
racist.
New Jersey's funny because we have like country, areas, and then we have more like suburban areas, like right next to each other.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of wildlife next to cities.
Yeah.
So there was that one story I heard. It was like a black bear ventured off into like a more suburban, urban, whatever area.
Urban.
It was a little bit more crime in that area, and someone
Blended
said,
himself.
"Motherfucking bear!" and shot the freaking bear.
He blended in.
It was Irvington, I think, dude. It
Yeah.
was like
Tyrone the bear.
they said someone shot it. They're like, "Oh, motherfucker!"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This just turned into a racist.
No, well, you did, but anyways, as
Yeah,
far
that's one of my. That's honestly though. That's a fear of mine is running into a wild animal while out in nature
Once
because I
again,
want to enjoy nature.
it's
But-
not going to happen. Coyotes, maybe you're going to be a little more concerned about if you have a little kid or something. How hungry they are. I think I told you, recently went to the Lakota Wolf Preserve. The wolves. There's, you know how many instances
I've done those. Yeah, I've done those. Yeah.
You know how many instances of wolves killing in New Jersey there are,
Yeah,
or any of that
well,
sort?
We don't have.
I know we don't have them, but or just in the United States, it's like nothing. There's no instances. Once again, it's always that wrong situation. You get someone who walks between a mama bear and her cubs. And these it's not because they want to kill you or do anything or eat you. They're hungry. You were in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Speaking of bear, though, off topic, real quick. Did you see the recent news at a Turtleback Zoo in West Orange, where an employee left the gate open and a bear got out?
I think it got out, but didn't get out. It was one of those things like it got out, but it wasn't public got out.
No, it wasn't public got out, but he got out of his enclosure into something else or whatever, and they were able to get him back in. But that's crazy shit.
Yeah. How does this shit happen nowadays? It's like these robbers in Philadelphia. How do they, how does that happen? Or that guy who was the ex-cop who was like a murderer or something like that. He got out of it. How does that stuff happen? There's something going on there. Something shady.
Yeah.
I know that just once again a little bit off topic there, but talking about bears to Philadelphia murderers and escaping in jail.
Racism.
Yeah, I know. You brought the race into it.
Back to the fears. We've talked about. I'm afraid of heights. Blah 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 blah. Facing our fears. I don't think I have it in me.
Yeah.
Like I'm a huge Amazing Race person, and I'm always like, if I had to go an Amazing Race, like, could I jump off a bridge and bungee jump? Can I dive into the water to do this?
Yeah.
Can I do that? No, I'm afraid, and I'm not going to face those fears because I don't care to.
Yeah.
Because I want to live.
I know.
I don't want to put myself in danger.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I have no remorse. I want to live as long as I can without putting myself in danger.
There's no desire there, I guess.
Yeah,
There's no
desire
to fulfill that fear. There's no desire to do something where you can risk your life or anything of that
People
sort.
are like, I'm so scared to jump out of a plane, but I want to overcome it.
I know.
Why?
I think you facing
Why?
your fears by not liking planes and flying now, that's in its form, and that's a good face of fear. It's something that changes your life. It changes your world, essentially, because now you can do so many more things.
Now I can go places and do things, right?
You go to the homeland if you want,
I'm at my homeland.
Italia.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pope's American anyway. What's the sense of going over there to see a guy from Chicago?
You don't go to Italy to see the Pope. On that note, I think it's about that time. I know you got to, wrap things up. Yeah. Face and fears,
Yeah.
Tell us what you think about that. Do you face your fears? Are you more into like watching a video about someone facing a fear that you may have,
Right,
or something along those lines? It makes it interesting.
it does.
Shout out Russell's pleasantly supply. I was pleasantly surprised with this one.
I love the supplies. It was a great supplies.
It was very nice supplies, but
Yeah.
it was a good surprise.
Hey, how about don't put it back in the graveyard? Maybe switch something out.
I know. What do I
Put
got?
it back in your rotation.
I know. Let's put this on the shelf.
Well, I don't know about the show.
Yeah,
It
right.
can go in the rotation.
It's good stuff. We liked it. Jimmy Russell.
Jimmy.
Yeah, we like that one a lot. Shout out to them. Cheers to John right here.
Thank you. Cheers to me.
Cheers to you.
And cheers to you.
Facing your flight fears.
And cheers to you for just being you.
I know. It's great. And cheers to you for being you. All right.